Clustering is a tool that assigns color to our matches so that we can see which matches belong together. And the leads method, which I created back in 2018, it even starts a little bit messy. These are my matches from January of this year, which I've privatized. Then I've had to teach people how to consolidate, how to make this look better. So we go from this to a finished product, which looks like this. Now we have very helpful matches. We took this down to just 4 colors representing my 4 grandparent lines, or my 4 sets of great grandparents. And we can even tell that when we have like an orange and a red, that means this is one side of my family. This happens to be my dad's side. And then we have somebody who's blue and purple, and that's my mom's side. And that's because these 2 people, this is a first cousin, and this is a first cousin once removed, a younger first cousin once removed. So those 2 people share 2 grandparents with me. So they showed us the interaction between those clusters. So that's what we get with the leads method. Now here's what we're getting with AncestryDNA and their new matches by cluster, their new automated tool, which is based on the leads method and then the automated tools that followed. So again, at first glance, we've got these colors and we can see these clusters, but without a lot of experience, they're not that helpful. Now, if you want more on the basics of how this matrix works, I'll link to a video and you can check that out. So how helpful is this? Well, we have matches that are really scattered. We have a lot of gray cells, which has been very confusing. And I'll link to another video if you want to learn more about that. And we're learning that we have missing matches that should be on these charts that aren't for different reasons. And often when we do the clusters, they come out different. And that's because of this seeding that Ancestry does. So how can we make these more helpful? Well, last week I figured out how to take this into Excel. I was trying this really difficult way going through AI, and it's so much simpler than that. And we can rearrange them just like I did with the leads method. But first, I want a few reminders from my second video, I believe, just to get people up to speed. You can skip this if you need to, just look down at the timestamps. But let's look at another example as a starting point. Now, these are my paternal clusters. I do see 3 clusters, but there's lots of gray. It wasn't that helpful seeing this. And so I showed you some tips on how to make this more helpful. And we have these clusters. I have identified them as paternal, maternal, paternal, 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 maternal. So the first and the third are my dad's mom's side of my family, and the middle one is my dad's side. And then I showed you how some of these matches, when they go all the way across the page, basically, and there can be some gaps, those are people that are sharing both of your grandparents. So they're either, let me pull that one up too. They're either my first cousins, because they would share both of my dad's parents, or younger first cousins once removed. So my cousin's children also share both grandparents. Those will often have more gaps because they're more distantly related. And so I showed you how we could gray those out to make our clusters more easy to see. And now we have these 3 clusters. We have less gray, except for our grayed out spots. And that was a lot more helpful. So let's go even a little bit further. This, I have a little brief tree of mine. So here's me and my dad. And my dad's dad is a Stewart. That's my maiden name. And my dad's mom was a Peters. And her parents were a Peters and a Kopenberger, which is hard to get on a little cell. So we're just saying Kopen. And as I studied these matches to see, well, who's in these clusters? What do these actually mean? Here's what I saw. I saw, again, this paternal. I just have these 4 people. That's my Stewart side of my family. And then at the top, okay, remember the first and the third are my dad's moms, paternal, maternal. And that would be the Peters, but they could be Peters or Kopenberger or both. Well, we've got some that are basically going all the way across of both of those. And so this first match is a Peters and a Kopenberger. So this would be one of my dad's first cousins that's sharing both of his grandparents, the Peters and the Kopenberger. And then we have 2 more that are basically going across the page. And then at the top, the rest of that melon cluster is Peters, and the rest of the purple cluster is Kopenberger. So this is what I figured out on my matches. Just yesterday, I reran these clusters on Ancestry as I was working on this video, and I got different clusters, which is another thing that we keep seeing is our clusters are not consistent. So let's take a quick look at what they look like now. The old one's on the left and the new one's on the right. And you can see that we used to have 3 different colors. Now we have 4 different colors. The gray is a lot different. The spaces, what I call the gaps, are a lot different. Those big blocks of just white cells, or this cream cells, are looking a lot different. And actually this new one looks a lot better. But if I ran it today, it might even look different. And another interesting thing, like I said, we sometimes are missing matches. In fact, on the left, what I ran 2 weeks ago had 21 matches in here, and now we have 20. So I didn't gain a new match, I lost a match, and none of these are new matches to me. Even more interesting, on here, this PA person is not on this week's run. And we're also missing this SA person, but we've got a new person, this DE person. And so they don't always pull the same matches. So when we switch to Excel, this is something we can take care of and make sure we have all the matches that we want. So again, this is the run from yesterday for my paternal matches, where we now see 4 instead of 3 clusters. And we're going to gray out those people that go all the way across the page. And again, they could have gaps. So we're going with these first 5 people. And a matrix is like a mirror image, so I can do it both ways. And now we have just these 3 clusters that look pretty good. This actually looks better than it did before because of how they have these gaps are better, like here. So what do these clusters represent? Well, that green is my dad's dads. And now it's nice and by itself, but it is missing one of the people. It used to have 4 members. Now it only has 3. And then we have somebody who's going all the way across the my dad's mom's side. So this is a Peters and Koppenberger, and there's the other 2. The rest of the purples are the Peters, and the rest of the blue are the Koppenbergers. So that's what I've seen today. Now, one last thing before we go to the Excel part. So these are my mom's matches, her full matches, so dad's side and mom's side. And this was pretty shocking to me. My mom has 99 matches between 65 centimorgans and 1,300 centimorgans, which is the range for what Ancestry is showing in these clusters. And she has, I think this is 11 matches showing up. Even stranger, she has 2 siblings who have tested. Her sisters look similar, but her brothers look like this. He has lots and lots of matches. So he has 112 matches between 65 centimorgans and 1,300 centimorgans. So why is this? And as I already said, here he has 112 matches, she has 99, but the clusters are so very different. And why is that? Well, let's take a look. I've mentioned this before in a video too, but it's the assigned versus unassigned. So when Ancestry is doing our matches, as they have for quite a few years now, they will assign it to parent side 1 or parent side 2, or they will say they are both. So like your siblings are related to both of your parents, or they will say they are unassigned. So my mom has these 2 matches, CL and WW. These are strong matches at 578 centimorgans and at 570. WW is her mother's first cousin, and CL is her cousin's child, a younger first cousin once removed. Both of these say unassigned. But if we look at these same matches for her brother, we see that they both say parent 2 side. So Ancestry has assigned them to parent 2 for her brother, but not for her. And that's the big problem. For some reason, my mom and my aunt have lots and lots of matches that say unassigned, where their brother has most of those matches assigned. And his is the newest test. That might have something to do with it. I'm thinking about retesting my mom just to see if we can get that taken care of. And you can see on my uncle, her brother, I haven't said that this parent 2 side is their mom's. I need to do that, the maternal side. And though that wouldn't affect his because his are already assigned, it doesn't matter. If I went into my mom's and assigned CL and WW to her mom's side, it doesn't affect how they're doing the clusters because they're only concerned about what Ancestry is doing and not what we're doing. So I hope they will change that. Now we're in Ancestry. We're looking back at the clusters that I created yesterday. And so you can see the 4 clusters. Again, I'm on just paternal. You can see that my dad's side is down here kind of separate. The hot pink cluster is the one I covered up because those are both. And I did that with the gray blocks when I was in the PowerPoint view where I could be more private. And then I was left with the purple, blue, and green clusters. So again, this is crazy because I was trying to figure out how AI could help me do this. And it is so simple. So all you have to do is start with your mouse up here. I'm holding my left mouse button down. I'm just highlighting everything and then Control C. And now I'm right clicking and I'm doing a paste, and I can keep the source formatting like that and I can paste them. Now I just paused for a second so I could privatize the names. But besides that, let me show you how to clean this up so it looks a lot better. First of all, the first name is always center justified, so I'm going to left justify. I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to expand it to a 9. I'm going to highlight the headers here, and they say they're already at a 9, but let's go to 10. Now I'm going to click on this corner button and I'm going to use, if yours is not already at all borders, you could do this drop down on the left mouse and click all borders. And then what I like to do is I'm going to start just beyond the names and highlight everybody. And then I'm going to squeeze this in until I can see there's a square there. And then I'm going to let go. Now they're all square. I like to change this row to white. And then I like to insert an extra row here because I'm going to put their surnames here like Peters and Koppenberger. And now it's all ready. Now we're going to just hide again those first cousins once removed and first cousins that share both of my dad's grandparents with me because they're not helpful in this case. If you're trying to work on an unknown biological parent, you definitely might want to keep them. But for my purposes, trying to see the 4 grandparent groups more or less, I'm going to highlight them or hide them. I've blown it up some. That's probably more helpful. Okay, let's hide those who match both of my dad's parents. So those would be my first cousins because they share both of my grandparents, the Stewart and the Peters, and also my cousin's children or my cousin's grandchildren if they had any, because those share both of my dad's parents with me. And so again, this time it's going to be the hot pink. And so I'm highlighting those. I left mouse and highlighted, and I right click and say, I'm going to just hide them. I could delete them. And then do the same this other way. You have to do it both ways because all the people are on there both horizontally and vertical. Like here we have Francis, and this must be Francis. And then to always check, because we're going to move some lines around, we're going to make sure that we still have this nice center line, which we do. So I've actually brought up on the right my tree, and on the left in column H, remember there's some columns that are hidden, I put the 2 surnames of how these people are related to me. Let's start with the green down here at the bottom. These are my dad's side. So here's dad's dad. This is the Stewart Merrill part. And so we have these 3 matches. Remember, there was a 4th on the first run, but now there's only 3. And then these purples are primarily the Peters Werther. So they're my dad's mom's side, the Peters Werther. But we have one match here, Marilyn, who's actually related to me just through the Werther Reinhardt. So she goes back even a further generation I've not shown because it would get too small, but she's only related to the Werther side and not the Peters. And so that shows you, okay, who's in a cluster. On this purple, we think of usually there's a common ancestral couple, but that's not always the case. So the Peters Werther are primarily the couple that everybody's clustering around, but we also have Marilyn, who's not a Peters Werther. She is only related to the Werther side. She goes back a generation further. And then we have a couple that are both purple and blue, Gary and Delbert, and these are the Peters Koppenberger. This is Gary and Delbert here. They are Peters Koppenberger. These are my dad's first cousins. And then we have the people who are just blue, and those are my dad's moms. So the Koppenberger Bennett. So this is great. And we saw this already before, but my dad didn't just have his clusters form 4 groups showing his 4 grandparents. When we're doing 4 clusters, we're talking about 4 grandparents or 4 sets of great grandparents, or we can go back and we can have 8 great grandparents or 8 sets of great grandparents. So we're seeing some of these sets of great grandparents and even the one match who goes back a generation even further. So those are my matches, and they're now quite clear. There's not a bunch of them, and I could go back and add missing matches. So let's do that. So if we go back to the PowerPoint where I was comparing my old cluster from 2 weeks ago versus my new cluster, which is this week, remember I am missing these 2 people. PAT and SA. Now, PAT is a first cousin. I think that this is a younger first cousin once removed, sharing both sides. I'm not as concerned about them, but I would love to add in this SA person. So let's look and find them, and I'll show you how we can do that. Okay, so I'm now on Ancestry. I found that person, the SA, and their initials are SI. And I blurred this using Goldie Mace so I can privatize things. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go to Filter Shared Matches. And then I want Shared DNA. And I want the same range that Ancestry is using for the clusters, which is 6,500 to 1,300 centimorgans. Each time it's checking to hide things. So I'm going to apply those filters. And now I see those matches that are between 1,300 and 65 centimorgans that are shared matches between me and SI. And so I can go back to my Excel spreadsheet, and down here I entered SI, and now I'm going to check these different matches. And in fact, what I'll do, I think this is probably fastest, I'm going to go back to where I was and search for the name Francis. In the first name, I hit search, and so it's going to be a lot faster because it's only searching those specific matches that are between 1,300 and 65. And it says no results found. And so that one I will leave. I will make this color. Whoops. And then I will go to the next one, and that's Helen. Helen is also not a match. So I color her cell this cream color too. And I'm going to just keep going with that. Okay, so I could do it faster. I just went ahead and did it with the camera off. Here we have SI. And if there was not a match, I put this cream color that everything else has. And if there was a match, I would put black. Then we also need to copy and paste. I think we can do this. Copy and come here, and I'm going to paste. And this is the one that says transpose. Yep, it works. So it takes what you've got one way and it puts it the other way. So if you've got it horizontally, you can make it vertical. And so we can see sometimes they would be more complicated than this. We also knew she should match greens from a run a couple weeks ago. But so now we've added this match that we wanted. So I know she's green. So we've got that midline. And so we need to put her this dark green here. And then in these other cells, we need to put this lighter green. And now we've added a match. Let me get rid of that. So that's our new clusters, and she is also a Stuart Merrill, so I could do that. And she matched everyone. I did want to point out we've got this one match here that's different. Whenever you have just a single cell, for the most part, that is a connection that's between those two people. So between David and DR, which is Dennis. So Dennis and David probably share a connection that has nothing to do with me. So I usually don't worry about those single cell things, although it could be fun to research. I'm not going to worry about that. So we've got these clusters nice and beautiful. To fill in this column here, my notes, the couple, I went back to my notes because notes are so important. And here I've opened up the green cluster, the 3 paternal matches here. But we have these notes. And if I hover over it, I can see them. This is Stuart Merrill, Merrill Eastwood, and Merrill Eastwood, which I'm not sure is what I put on here. Let's go over here. Stuart Merrill. I don't know why I messed that up. This is actually back a generation even further. Again, we're going back a generation further. And these two, Joy and Dana, are actually a generation further back. And so where these would be my first cousins, second cousins, this is a type of third cousin to me. Now, if you'd like more examples or for me to show you how you manipulate and move these clusters around or move the individuals around to get better clusters, please let me know. I think this is plenty for one video. And happy clustering. I'll see you next time.